One, two.
So, could you share a bit about yourself, Douglas?
I am a final year student from SMU. I am majoring in marketing and information systems management. As for leadership experience, I've been to a couple of organizing committees. I've actually led them personally. I've also been to quite a number of assessment centers where you're forced to work in a group and come up with an output in the end. I'm also very interested in a lot of fields, but I'm particularly interested in marketing analytics, a bit of raw data analytics, and marketing and business strategy.
Question 2. What do you think makes a successful leader in a self-managed team? What traits or approaches are required?
In the essence of it, it's pretty much about understanding. So it's understanding three main things. So it's first understanding the problem and where you need to go, or your end goal. Understanding your team and what motivates or energizes them, as well as understanding what your team members say and how you make them own their project. So as for understanding the problem and the end goal, the 70% of solving any problem, whether it be especially in the group, is knowing where you need to go, what the problem is and how you can solve it, and how with your team you can solve it. And understanding the end goal is always about knowing what solution directly addresses the problem, because a lot of teams tend to go off in different directions and end up not solving anything anyway, so it sort of loses the point. So understanding these two is our core fundamental things. Second is understand how your team works and what energizes them, because motivated team members tend to work better, and they more often than not give suggestions which value add to the conversation. So given that people are different, especially from different nationalities are different, you always have to understand how they work, their working style, what works for them. For example, someone may be motivated through lots of pressure. Some people are motivated through positive reinforcement. So you really have to see how they react and talk with them and see what motivates them, gets them to work, and be happy about the project they're doing. Lastly, it's understanding your teammates' opinion. Namely, it's getting transforming their insight and putting it on the table so that it won't be discarded and everyone else can take their opinions into consideration. Because the last thing you would want in a team is people who think that they're not part of the project. That's like the absolute. That's when leadership is even more necessary. So being able to consolidate all of these points, putting them together, and understanding your team members in this way is, I think, traits of a self-managed leader, at least a successful one.
Thank you. Have you successfully led a self-managed team? Can you tell us about how you earn respect in that situation?
For me, it's really hard to define what a successful leader is, because every leader I've worked with, and being a leader myself, it's always a mix of success and failure. So maybe if you were forced to define what success is, I guess it's when you sort of finish what your problem, you end up solving your problem using your end goal. But I guess some factors that a successful leader might have, or how did I earn my respect, basically, is first of all, it always starts with recruitment. Get the best people, make it stringent, and understand what they want out of the project, and make sure from the onset that they're motivated not just with the work, but motivated and believe in what you want to achieve. For example, if you're doing, let's say, an activity for peace, for example, make sure that everyone you recruit believes that peace is an important thing. That's the first step. Second, work harder than everybody else. So your job as a leader is not necessarily to boss people around. It's more of you support each of your team members to do their job well. For example, when I did this project called SMU Peace Day, what I ended up doing was each department would tell me what they need. For example, marketing will tell me, I need this budget, I'm going to do this. I told them, okay, if you're going to do this, what do you need? Tell me, okay, this is the logistics I will need, blah, blah, blah. And what my job would be was to liaise with logistics to provide what marketing needs to do her job. What this does, instead of just bossing people around, is that it becomes their part of the project. And by doing so, they gain ownership, they feel accountable, and more importantly, they'll do anything to make it work because it's their idea to begin with. So as a leader, it's really about working hard in a sense of uniting everyone towards that end goal, which brings me to my next point about aligning perspectives. Because with so many people from different backgrounds, like in my organizing committee, we had 6 different nationalities with different work styles. So it's really about making sure everyone keeps on track, because with a lot of ideas, you tend to go this way, tend to go that way. But at the end of the day, your job as a leader is to make sure that everyone works towards your end goal or whatever criteria or KPIs you set. Lastly, maybe for earning respect, I guess it's sometimes you just have to have fun with it. Like, it's not always about work. Be there to bond with your team members, be there to support them when necessary, because sometimes they go through problems, you have to help them out. And it really pays dividends later on. You get a successful event, you become friends with them later, they tell you about their adventures on exchange and all that kind of stuff. So that's how you earn respect, in my opinion.
Have you ever failed leading a self-managed team?
Definitely. I've had more failures than I had successes, but I think that failure is a very important aspect of learning leadership, because it's through these failures that I try to improve myself in leading stuff. Like, for example, I led this other event the year before that wasn't that successful. I guess things to watch out for to avoid these sort of traps or failures is that, first of all, as I said a while ago, recruitment is very important. So at the time, we just recruited people who wanted to join, but at the end of the day, it should be people who are really motivated to do the work and have the credentials and the skills to do the work. I guess you should also watch out for unmotivated people and motivating them early on, and see if they have problems, address them early on so that you can deliver moving forward. And I guess another thing you can watch out for is losing sight of the end goal. As I said a while ago, the end goal is very important. But there's very more often than not, there's always that temptation to go away from what you're initially set out to do. So maintaining that focus and ensuring that your team members are constantly motivated towards that end goal is of absolute importance. These are the things I didn't really know back then, because I was in second year and fresh out of general stuff. So I learned things along the way then, and I think it turned out for the better, I guess.
Finally, what are some things that you would recommend for us to be better influential leaders?
Some things I recommend. First of all, as I said a while ago, work harder than everybody else. Don't be afraid to talk to your team members, connect with them on a personal level if necessary, to understand how they work and understand what drives them, because it's this drive that gives them the motivation to give more than what they actually promise to do. Second, try it out. As in, if it may be in a CCA, can be in an internship position, doesn't really matter. But try being a leader yourself. Most of the stuff I've learned over the 4 years I've been here, I've learned because I've failed so many times, and it's through that failure you really develop that level of reflection and understand, like, why did I fail? How could I have done better? And that's through that learning that you really learn the most. Really, it's not like a class related thing. I guess as a leader, hang out with leaders as well. So it could be an upperclassman, it could be a business leader. Ask for their mentorship and ask them what would be the best thing to do in certain situations. They will give you a wealth of information, and maybe even in a school context, your professors know a lot about the working world that none of us have, and it's really talking to them outside of class that really makes it more enriching, because they tell you about what the challenges they face as a director of this company, and that's really valuable experience. And lastly, just have fun with it. Like, being a leader is not just there to inspire people, but it's also your opportunity to learn and your opportunity to make others learn as well. So your job as a leader also is to make sure that your friends and your team members learn a lot from the experience as you will. So having that constant knowledge that it should not be something dreary, you should have fun with it, you should be happy while doing this, and keeping that in mind makes being a leader so much easier, and also affects the output quite well. So yeah.
Right, thank you. So yeah, we've come to the end of the interview.
How old are you?